Our double parsha this week begins by telling us of a woman who is pregnant and gives birth to a son. And then the Torah says, Ubayom hashmini yemol basar olato. And on the 8th day of his life, his father shall circumcise the flesh of his foreskin. We have the mitzvah of Brit Milah, circumcision. This is not the first time in the Torah that we've spoken about circumcision. It was discussed in Parshat Lech Lecha, when Hashem came to the aged patriarch, to Abraham, who was 100 years old, and told him that he should circumcise himself and his children and his descendants thereafter at the age of 8. And so it is that this mitzvah of Brit Milah has become one of the foundations of the Jewish people, that every infant male is circumcised on the 8th day, or if not on the 8th day, if he's not well enough, then at some later point in his life. And we see recently that the mitzvah of Brit Milah has come under a great deal of pressure and opposition. For example, recently, the country of Iceland, which has a minuscule Jewish community, is trying to outlaw and to ban Brit Milah, circumcision, and this, of course, will affect the Jewish community and the Muslim community. But this is not the first time that Brit Milah has been outlawed. In fact, throughout our history, this is one of the mitzvot that was often attacked by oppressive nations. The Greeks outlawed Brit Milah, and of course the Romans also outlawed Brit Milah. So it's not something that we have had to deal with just once in our history, but we've had to deal with it many, many times. And it was always something that set aside the Jewish people from their neighbors. In the benching, in the grace after meals that we say every day after we've had bread, we thank Hashem, al britcha shechatamta bivsarenu, for the covenant which you have sealed within our flesh. What is Brit Milah? Well, the word Brit means a covenant. God made a covenant with Abraham. You will be my nation. Your descendants will be my people. I will give you the land of Israel. That's the covenant. Then there is the sign of the covenant, and that sign of the covenant was circumcision. Why particularly in that part of the body? Because Hashem was saying, this is a covenant that I'm going to be keeping with all of your descendants for all time. And therefore it's going to be in that part of the body which is used for procreation, from which the new generations will come. But the wording in the Birkat HaMazon is so particular. It says, Al britcha shechatamta bivsarenu, I have sealed my covenant in your very flesh. It's not something that's airy-fairy, that we speak about, that it's some type of a vague notion. The Jew can actually see the covenant sealed within his very flesh. One of the commentators says that in the old days you would have a king, and in order to show that the subjects of the king belong to the king, he would actually make a sign in their body. He would tattoo them or brand them in the same way that a farmer would brand his animals. Now, of course, a Jew is not allowed to have a tattoo of any sort. But the Brit Milah is in a way like a tattoo, like a brand, that it points and it says, that is where Hashem's covenant is. And why particularly in that part of the body? To show that even that act, the physical act, one of the most physical animalistic acts that a person can do, even that can be something which is holy. So it's a mitzvah that has been with us since time memorial, and it's something that we need to protect and defend, and to explain to each and every Jew and to each and every nation that this is what makes us Jews. This is what is the sign of the covenant between Hashem and us for all time. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom.